Well, there aren't many female musicians, period, let alone female drummers, all right? Especially when I was getting started, when I was a kid. So there was always a prejudice. They never thought it was, drums is a very outwardly physical thing. There's concussion and there's, you know, that they always think that's strength, you know, to hit a drum is like, you know, it's more of a physical thing than just like playing a flute or a guitar or something where it's more fine motor skill thing, you know what I mean? A horn or something like that, or a violin, it's all, or piano even. Drums is like bang, right? So they never thought girls were strong enough, or, and when I went to New York to pursue my music career in my early 20s, more, you know, as an adult, I couldn't get auditions because they didn't think girls could hit hard enough. That was before they amplified everything, okay? And that was, you know, I mean, that was just par for the course. People who would be prejudiced against, you know, write you off because you're female. But then again, when you can do it, sometimes you get more credit than you deserve. So it works both ways. You know, the good for a girl, she's good for a girl thing, that's it's passé now. You don't hear that anymore because this young culture now has changed that, which I give the young people credit for, you know. My generation, we would look to the generation, you always look to the generation before you, like your parents' people, right? They were like, well, things take time, everything's going to change, but it takes time to change. That's what I always heard. And I was like, oh my God, you know, well, come on, you know, it's, why? I never understood that. And the 20-somethings now, these millennials or whatever, and Generation X and whatever the hell they are now, they're not hearing it. They're not having it. It's like, no, you know, we're doing it now. So some of that's good. Some of it, I have my own opinion about, you know what I mean? But a lot of it's very good that they've changed things. There's, you know, just like unwed mothers and that stuff, all that stigma is gone from that stuff, and that's all good stuff, you know? So, yeah. You know, my family's very artistic. My parents were actors. And
they were actors?
Yeah, that's how they met when they were kids in a play in high school or something. And they actually went to New York themselves and tried to pursue an acting career on, you know, they wanted to make it as actors in film and Broadway or whatever. And life interfered, you know, and World War II came in there and things like that. So then they decided they were going to have a family, and having experienced New York City, didn't feel that was the place to raise a family, so they stayed in Pittsburgh. And then in their retirement, they went back to acting. And that's kind of what I did, the same kind of thing, except I stayed in New York a little longer than them, but and pursued my music career a little bit longer, and then gave it up when I had kids to raise the kids, and now I'm back at it again. Well, the first band I was in, the first road band that I went in, professional band, I was the bass player. I studied bass too. I did that in high school. Actually, I was a high school cheerleader my freshman year, and I gave up cheerleading to take bass guitar lessons. And they all thought I was nuts because being a cheerleader was like the thing, right? But I used to think, you know, when I'm old, I used to think when I'm 30, I'll be able to play the bass, but I don't think you'll be cheering. You know what I mean? So I kind of always knew that music was something that you could have your whole life. And that was something I liked about it, you know. The only, you know, I wish I would have gotten my act together a little better, a little sooner, you know. I wish I didn't have, but that's just something I think, it's life, you know. When you're young, there's more fear, you know. I wish I would have been a little more fearless. I don't drink or do drugs, and I haven't for almost 40 years now, so, and it almost killed me, so let's put it that way. But I was a product of sex, drugs, and rock and roll of the 70s and 80s, so, you know. All my idols were doing it, so I thought that was part of it, you know.